I remember when Roe versus Wade was overturned, 24th of June, I think.
I think it was.
And the reason I remember that...
St. John
the
the
official
Baptist.
date or the leak date?
The official date was 24th of June. And the reason I know that is because my daughter's birthday, that was 24th of June, and I was driving her to a trampoline park with the other kids when the news came out. And I recorded a little video there. And this was based on a conversation we had where I said, what are we going to do? And to thank the Mother of God. Think of how many old women sat outside of abortion mills praying their rosaries. I mean, millions of rosaries must have been prayed. And what are we going to do to honor the Mother of God? And I suggested that we build a gigantic shrine in honor. And this was your idea. And it's moving ahead. And I had you on the show, I think about a year ago now, to discuss this. And so to tell us what's happening.
Every single battle, I think, I shouldn't say every, there's probably an exception out there, but every of these great battles in the Old Testament there's an altar erected, for atonement and thanksgiving. So you think of, with Elijah, or you think of with Moses, they after a battle, they build an altar and they give thanks to God. And this pro-life battle that we have, make no mistake about it, this is not political. It is spiritual. Mm-hmm. And the restitution of a godly order in our society has to begin with a spiritual liturgical renewal. We can talk sometime about the liturgical aberrations in the Old Covenant that led to moral aberrations, but the sons of Eli. But this is at the center of this. Is every renewal has to begin not with activism or with propaganda, has to begin with the Eucharistic sacrifice liturgy. So that's one thing. And it really, I think, needs to be, a landmark so that, it's tabernacled, literally in the meaning of the word, it's tabernacled, is that God's grace and victory is tabernacled down here. As you're driving by on the highways, you're going over to the Pittsburgh airport, you can see this is a sign of victory, of God's kingdom marching forward. We're not losers. We're victors. We know the battle, how it ends, and it ends victoriously very well. So we need to have that confidence, and we need to be erecting signs of victory for Christ's kingdom. So in constant, in lineage with the Old Testament and with Christian history, is you erect an altar of victory, places of atonement where we can make reparation for this horrible outrage, this unbelievable outrage that calls to heaven for vengeance of the killing of the innocents. But it's unique in that by the grace of God, I hope it comes to this, is that it'll be a place where the head, the heart, and the hands are united. Because we in the pro-life movement, and it's the pro-life movement that brought me into the church really back in 1992, 93, is we have wonderful apostolates that do things for the head. Mm-hmm. I think of Lila Rose. Mm-hmm. It's just that you're going out and you're engaging the world of ideas, and you're speaking and thinking and expressing, the absurdity of abortion and the logic of giving life. And then you have all across the country, apostolates that are doing the work of the hands. Okay. Here in Pittsburgh, we have Mary's Place. Mm-hmm. You know of a young woman who's chosen life. She has nowhere to go because her parents kicked her out, her boyfriend kicked her out, and she's got 2 months to go before birth. You go to Mary's Place, they're going to take care of you, and not just for a few weeks. You can stay there up to a year, I think, and get your feet back on the ground. They'll help you. They'll love you back into yourself, into a holy way of living. So we have lots of places like that across the country. And then the heart, this is the center of it. Is it spiritual? It's liturgical, it's Christocentric. So we need something that holds all of these together. And so throughout the country, when people say, oh, you pro-lifers do nothing, once you turn a woman away from Planned Parenthood, people will be able to say, look at the Holy Protection of Mary Shrine. This does the whole thing. It does the apologetic, the head stuff, it does the hand stuff, women can come here. They'll receive all the help they need with their little children. Orphans, widows from Ukraine who have nowhere to go. They've come into the country. They don't have a father or a husband to support them. These people are part of that gospel of life as well, the widow and the orphan. Read James chapter 1. So this is a place where all three are held together. And a component of it, and this is kind of new since I last came on, is a component of this is memorializing our pro-life heroes. The left does a fantastic job of this, is they create these pseudo-martyrologies, these pseudo-hagiographies of their heroes, and they put them into literature, and they create monuments to them and all this stuff. And you look at the lives of these people, and they're really not that laudatory. There's nothing about them, but they are doing a wonderful job of telling people about these heroes of the left. We on the who are more conservative, like myself, we don't do a very good job at all of memorializing our great heroes in the pro-life movement. What about that priest who he was a Holy Cross father when President Obama came to Notre Dame in 2008, I think, or 2009, and he stood out there with his rosary protesting this. You're going to give an award to a man who openly supports abortion, and you're a Catholic institution? Shame on you, Father Jenkins. Shame, shame, shame on you. What's that thing around your neck? I think it's called a collar, isn't it? Live as Christ commands you to live. Well, there was one Holy Cross father. I don't even know his name, but he was dragged away for the crime of praying the rosary on the campus, as I recall. And we need to have men like that memorialized. We need to put them up as an example. So having like a museum component to this, so that it's not just to the heart, but it's to the head. And everyone who comes there, we can have like a hall of fame that made this Dobbs decision possible. So that's part of it, is the faith of the head, faith of the heart, the faith of the hands, so that people can know and see and believe that there were men and women who lost their jobs, who lost, they went to prison for the pro-life cause. We need a salient landmark in this country to point out the heroic witness of men and women for the gospel of life.
Hey, thanks for watching that clip. Would you like this beautiful, very high quality, definitely not made in China, not that there's anything wrong with that, Pints with Aquinas beer stein for free, sent to your door? Would you also like a copy of The Jill sent to your door 4 times a year? This is the Pints with Aquinas newspaper, by the way. If you do, go to mattfradd.locals.com and become an annual supporter for any amount. We'll send you that stuff for free, and you get a bunch of other free things in return. You'll get more information by going over to mattfradd.locals.com. Thanks.